If you have any doubt that creating a brand culture creates massive sales, just look at Bitcoin, a brand who created a brand culture for people who don't want to belong to a culture. Surprise! Even people who say they don't want to belong still want to belong. Everyone wants to belong, and even an anti-culture community is a community. So how can you use this feverish obsession with disruptive brands like Bitcoin to generate mass revenue for your company? It's called the belonging principle, and it's why Bitcoin is rising, and I'm going to give it to you right now. Today, we are answering the question on every entrepreneur's mind. How do I grow my brand's community? So many people are wondering why Bitcoin is rising. Well, it's because Bitcoin is more than just a currency. It's become an obsession for a community of people who want to feel like they are disrupting the system, breaking the mold, defying the status quo. And it isn't just Bitcoin seeing the massive growth and popularity. It's all of them. Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, each of these cryptocurrencies are currently worth tens of billions of dollars. Okay, that's billions with a B. That seems pretty wild when you step back and consider that the true value of cryptocurrency is similar to the true value of a luxury handbag, right? It's a perceived value. It lives only in the mind. And more cryptocurrencies are emerging every week. Major brands such as Kodak, who have recently announced it would be rolling out its own cryptocurrency, Kodak Coin, all the way to the absurd with the devotees of actor Nicolas Cage loading up on Cage coins. There's an entirely new cyber world that is forming right now, where the cryptocurrency you use says something about who you are and what you stand for. Instead of Capital One's tagline, "What's in your wallet?" it's cryptocurrency saying, "What's in your cyber wallet?" right? Which is basically the same as asking, who are you? What are you all about? So here's what's left to conclude about why Bitcoin is rising. This obsession, this desire to engage with altcoins really isn't about how much they're worth. It's about what the cryptocurrency stands for and how it makes people feel about themselves. In a word, branding. The Bitcoin brand, not the currency itself, is driving the value by becoming part of its ideal user's identity. Becoming part of your ideal user's identity is a brand longevity asset. It is a primal psychological reason why Bitcoin is rising, which is funny when you consider Bitcoin doesn't have an established corporation or organization that you would typically associate with a brand. But not having an organization is their brand. Don't be fooled. Bitcoin has a logo, it has recognizable colors, it has a definite point of view, it's 100% a brand, and it's made of a culture out of everyone who doesn't want to be part of a culture. It's brilliant. Bitcoin is branded to the nonconformists, the non-denominational, the tech-savvy futurists, those who defy the status quo and refuse to be contained or controlled by big banking and the guidelines laid out by our current financial system. And that branding is a big part of why Bitcoin is rising. But in reality, the invention of cryptocurrency really isn't rocking the boat as much as you might think. It's just a perception. A handbag that costs $15 can definitely still do the same job as a handbag that costs $5,000. But it's the way a person self-identifies with that luxury brand that drives the perceived value through the roof. Billionaire Mark Cuban recently told Forbes Bitcoin is more of a religion than a solution to any problem. It's funny. Sorry, all you wild, aloof rebels. Counterculture is still a culture. You joined the club. And try as we might, we cannot escape our human nature, our innate desire to belong. So as a special gift to you and your badass disruptor brand's ascension towards creating an obsession in your ideal individuals, I've identified the top 3 fundamental aspects of what really is driving the cryptocurrency craze. Why Bitcoin is rising. It's called the belonging principle. The first one is the if you know effect. So have you noticed that hashtag if you know being thrown around a lot lately? It's a pretty long as hashtag acronyms go, but hey, if you know, you know. And if you don't, then you must not belong to that community, right? In every successful branding lexicon, there is a language that creates that feeling that I am this and I'm not that. Think of Ford, built Ford tough. Is that where you belong? Or you belong with Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing? Or maybe you belong with Harley-Davidson, screw it, let's ride. A brand is the establishment of a club that is exclusive to only those who get it. If you don't get it, then you're not in the club, right? You don't belong. But if you do get it, then you are in. Your invitation is in the mail and it feels so good to be in. But that doesn't mean your brand needs to eliminate anyone as being a potential member of your brand community in order to trigger the belonging effect. A funny example would be that you'll often find this if you know hashtag affixed to your posts in your feed that are like, only people with genius level IQ, or only 5% of the population can solve this puzzle, and then 10,000 of people will reply with their answer, right? When in reality, this exclusive puzzle is probably relatively simple, and most people are able to solve it quickly. It doesn't matter. People are chasing the feeling of being in the know. It's the perception of exclusivity that triggers so many people to respond. And the perception of belonging to an exclusive club, or people who are smart enough to get into it, to see the truth, plays a huge part in why Bitcoin is rising. The second belonging principle is a little high risk, high reward drama can be intoxicating. When we hear that the mega jackpot is $900 million, even if we don't play the lotto, even when we don't have a hand in the game, it still doesn't stop us from fantasizing about all the things that we would do if we'd won the money. Just the very idea of winning the lotto is enough to release a little dopamine and a little adrenaline into our systems. And if we do buy the lottery ticket, even though we know the odds are massively against us, that adrenaline rush is amplified. Just knowing we have any chance at all to win, it's intoxicating, even habit forming, right? In the book Hooked, How to Build Habit-Forming Products, author Nael says to initiate action, doing must be easier than thinking. Remember, a habit is a behavior done with little or no conscious thought. Thought-provoking, right? You see, the decision to buy is emotional. When people buy lottery tickets, they aren't thinking about the odds of winning. They are riding the high they get from creating the possibility. It's the perception of being able to win that keeps people coming back and trying again and again. But because Bitcoin is intangible money, there's risk involved in committing to acquiring and amassing it. But they could win big, and that drives Bitcoin ideal users to stay hooked. How can your brand incorporate an element of high risk, high reward? It can be achieved by offering opportunities for your community to win fun and exciting prizes through quarterly drawings or friendly competition, but that's not the only way. Renowned social scientist at Stanford University, B.J. Fogg, states that all humans are motivated to seek pleasure and avoid pain, to seek hope and avoid fear, to seek social acceptance and avoid rejection. How does your brand plan on helping your in-crowd, your community, your brand's culture achieve these things? The high-risk factor doesn't need to be as dramatic as risking a life like Red Bull did when they sponsored Felix Baumgartner's space jump that led to a 500 million jump in Red Bull sales. The high risk can be as simple as missing out on an opportunity to make their lives better, easier, or happier. Speaking of popular acronyms, triggering FOMO, fear of missing out, is now a major value driver. And when your brand makes a promise to lead its community to a greater future and then keeps it, the reward your community feels for being smart enough to join your brand is nothing short of intoxicating. This is a huge driver and why Bitcoin is rising for more and more people. And the third belonging principle is the power of hope. Now, this final belonging principle was actually a bit challenging to suss out because you wouldn't think that a culture of nonconformists such as the Bitcoin community would even want hope marketing. But surprise, even the edgiest of disruptors can't escape the need to believe no matter what happens, no matter what struggles they're facing or personal traumas they have suffered, that it is never too late to be happy, to find fulfillment, to experience true love, to pursue their dreams. Hope is a powerful motivator. To quote the beloved Anne Frank, where there's hope, there's life. Where there's hope, there's a reason to take action. Where there's hope, there's purpose. We crave that feeling, don't we? We need purpose to feel alive. There is no better way for a brand to give their community a sense of purpose than to instill them with the hope for a greater future. The hope that Bitcoin holds is the possibility of going from scarcity to abundance, rags to riches, so to speak. What possibilities does your brand have to offer your brand community? What's your brand's promise for a greater future? How can your brand give your ideal users the hope they need to take bold enough to take bold action? Thank you so much for joining me today, you badass disruptor entrepreneurs. It's such a pleasure to bring you these insights into real reasons why Bitcoin is rising. And I love knowing that you are on a mission to make the world a better place, even if you have to turn a few things upside down along the way. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe because I release these masterclasses every Tuesday and Thursday. And as always, remember, the golden rule is to love what you do and love how you do it. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on a single thing. Subscribe below. And here's something else I think you'll love.